Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 21st of February 2020, so yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, a few of the setups. But before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, now then, just before we jump in, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we update on a daily basis. So yeah, guys, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right here. Now then, let's jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here and just to have a quick update on DAX. Now this morning I talked about this index, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this territory between the 13,600 and the 640. You can see that we did get an overshoot, but it kind of still remained above this medium-term upside support line, the one that I've mentioned as well. This one's taken from the lowest point of August of last year, of course. And yep, we saw a nice drop lower, but quickly the bulls picked up on this and pushed the price back above the 13,640 mark. So we can see that the price is currently is currently balancing just slightly below the 21 EMA, but don't get put off by that yet. First, let's see how this is going to end up today, and let's see where the cash index is going to end as well, because we are now just a few minutes away from the US opening bell, and of course after the European markets will close, it will be the U.S. markets who will dictate the whole situation, the whole sentiment. So for now, guys, keep your eyes on some of these levels here, on this, of course, on this upside support line, and of course on this 13,640 mark. In a way, for us to get comfortable with higher levels, as I've mentioned previously, we need to see a push above that all-time high, which is around the 13,795 zone, and only then we could target further higher levels. For now, like I said, we're going to keep it very short and simple. For now, we're just going to monitor this area here, and if by any chance we do get a drop below this upside line, then, well, I mean, this could create this slightly bearish atmosphere for the next week ahead. So keep your eyes on that one. Dow Jones Industrial Average. So looking at this one, and especially looking at the cash index right now, of course, after yesterday's close in the red, we can see that the cash index continues to slide, and the price is currently balancing around the 29,100 zone. So in a way, we're going to keep an eye on that one, but mainly we're going to keep an eye on this area here, the one I spoke about previously. So this area is roughly between the 28,905 zone, something like that, and the 29,000, the psychological 29,000. So basically this 100-point range here, we'll keep an eye on this one, because if it fails to provide decent support and breaks, well, I mean, this could lead towards further decline, especially if the index starts falling below the 100 EMA here on the 4-hour chart as well. So basically a lot to look out for. especially for the downside. So for now, we're being very careful. In terms of the upside, for us to get excited about higher levels, well, ideally we would like to see a push back above the 29,400 zone, and only then aim for further upside. For now, it's like I said, it is a little bit in limbo, I would say, waiting for that confirmation breakthrough one of these for one of these areas before considering a further directional move. Gold continues to accelerate, and this is what I talked about this morning, guys. Basically, what I was saying, that in a way, that given the fact that we've managed to break the this area here, this key area of resistance near the 1612, 1616 zone, it continued to push higher, and today it managed to reach, and let me just put this one on the chart, managed to reach this area here, the 1645. One of our targets was around the 1652 mark, just to show you what that level was. And let me just jump into a daily chart on this one. Now let me just go back into 2013, guys. So the 1616 level was previously, or should I say, it was the high of the 21st of March 2013, but the 1652 area is the low of the 20, just let me double check this very quickly. So the 29th of January, if I'm not mistaken. No, that's, there we go, we need to capture this one. There we go, the 28th of January 2013. So that's how far we have traveled already. So basically for now, of course, at some point it will need to correct lower, but again, for now it's just one-way traffic. It continues to accelerate, and looking at this daily chart, yes, we could see a further move higher, especially if it climbs above the current high near the 1645, and then yep, we'll aim for the 1652 zone, and then we'll take it from there. In terms of the downside, now let me just jump back into a 4-hour chart on this one. In terms of the downside, well, we would like to consider maybe some lower levels, or let's say a deeper move to the downside, or which is in a way for now part of the correction, could be seen as a part of the correction. If we get a drop back below the 1612, 1611 zone, then yep, this is where we will aim for slightly lower levels. For now, the downside is slightly off the table, unless it's just a temporary correction before another leg of buying. Ripple. I haven't looked at Ripple for quite a while, but basically previously, last time when I've looked at it, I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this little area of support near the 0.2680. You can see that after we managed to break this short-term tentative upside support, or actually not very tentative anymore, but a short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 26th of January, after the break this week, then and after the fact that the price stayed below this upside line, the crypto drifted lower, but it kind of got held near this level, near the 0.2680 zone. At the same area here, we do have the 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart, which also provided a bit of support, although we did have a few overshoots here, but as you can see, the 4-hour candles remained above it. So that's why we're going to keep an eye on this area, keep an eye on this territory, because if we get a nice good drop below this level, below the 0.2680 zone, then yep, we could consider further declines. And don't get me wrong, in terms of further declines, still the downside might get limited near this other upside support line taken from the low of the 3rd of January. So we'll keep an eye on this one, guys, as well. Like I said, we're not going to drag this one to the downside sharply. We'll just go step by step, but as I said, if we get a drop below this little territory here, then yes, we will aim for slightly lower levels, but for now the downside might get limited near this upside line, and then we'll take it from there. In terms of the upside, we would like to see this one pushing back above this short-term upside support line taken from the low, the 26th of January, and of course ideally maybe a push back above this little territory here near the 0.3030 zone, and then yes, we could consider maybe higher levels again, but for now it seems that the upside could be slightly off the table. US dollar against the Singapore dollar. Now I looked at this one a while ago, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this one because this is a very nice gauge of how the whole coronavirus issue is getting along, because the Singapore economy really depends on China heavily. So that's why you can see here the US dollar skyrocketing against the Singapore dollar. And basically initially I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this little target here, the highest point of 2019 near the 1.3942 zone, and you can see that it continued to push higher. It blew up to the upside here, and found some resistance today near the 1.4088 territory, from which you can see that the bears kind of pushed the rate back down. Don't get me wrong, it might just be seen as a temporary correction right now, but to be honest, for now it seems that it's one-way traffic and it could continue further north. At this point in time, what we're going to do here, in order to consider higher levels, we will wait for a push above this high, today's high, near the 1.4088 zone, because in a way at the same time it's very tricky, because we do have a very steep up move here, which in a way could lead to a bit of correction at some point. But again, for now, given the current situation with the coronavirus, it's not really looking for any kind of larger corrections to the downside. USDJPY. So with this one here, it exploded nicely to the upside yesterday, but today we're seeing a bit of a hold up, and we almost managed to reach this 112.40 zone. I talked about this one in one of my videos yesterday, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this highest point of April of 2019 near the 112.40. So the pair did drift higher, but failed just a few points from a few pips from reaching that territory, and you can see today we're having a bit of a decline here. Maybe finally the yen is kind of picking up or picking up its safe haven status. Who knows? But for now, it's like I said, it did have a nice strong move this week already. So maybe a bit of correction could be possible going into next week. Don't get me wrong, we already did have a bit of correction today, and let me just jump back into a 4-hour chart. So as you can see, we did correct a little bit lower. The pair got held near this key area of support, which previously acted as good resistance. This area around the 111.60, 111.70 zone. So now the bulls are trying to push this one higher. Let's see if they can achieve the 112.40 zone, maybe even today. Who knows? But again, keep your eyes on that one. For now, the way you could play this one out safely is, of course, keep your eyes on the recent high near the 112.23 zone. A nice good push above this could increase the chances of a test of that 112.40 territory. In terms of the downside, now with lower levels, previously I talked about this zone, the 110.29. Of course, it still remains as the slightly more comfortable level from which to examine the downside, but we could start looking at lower areas from here, maybe from the 111.08 and marked by the inside swing low here of the 19th of intraday swing low of the 19th of February. And if we do see a drop below this, this would also place the rate below the 21 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and more sellers could drive this one a little bit to the downside. For now, everything's kind of leaning more towards the upside, as long as it stays above this 111.70 or 60 zone. This little territory for us will be somewhat of a neutral one, but if it starts falling below the 111.08 territory, then we'll consider a bit of declines. GBPNZD. GBPNZD. So I talked about this one recently as well, and basically what I was telling you guys, that keep an eye on this 2.0441 territory, because if it would have held, then we could maybe see a bit of a correction here towards this short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 12th of February. But given the fact that if we manage to break it today, this of course increases the chances of a further move higher, and here now we can start looking for the this little high, the highest point of 2019, around the 2.0559 zone. So keep your eyes on that one. As you can see here from this daily chart, we are having a nice push higher, and the next target for us is the 2.0559 level, which is, as I said, the highest point of 2019. So something to keep an eye on, guys. Oh, by the way, this is also the highest point of 2018 as well, so just something to keep in mind, or not far from there, let's put it that way, because right now the pair is getting held by this little territory, the highest point of 2018. In terms of the downside, pretty straightforward. We need to see a drop below this 2.0203 area, roughly around here, in order to aim for a bit of correction here to the downside, and aim for this medium-term upside support line taken from the low of the 30th of July. And the last pair for the session is going to be the euro dollar. Now, I looked at this one this morning as well, and what I was telling you guys to be careful here. Although, yes, we are balancing near the lows here, near this key area of support around the 1.0777. We need to see a break below this before we could consider further declines. For now, it is stuck here, it's consolidating, and it seems that it's trying to make its way above this 1.0815 level that I mentioned this morning, but as you can see, it does keep on getting these little overshoots, but it's struggling to kind of stay above this. So for now, in order to aim for slightly higher levels, we need to see a good push above the 1.0815 zone, and maybe ideally a close of at least a 4-hour candle above this, but we'll keep an eye on this one again. But if we do see something like that, then yes, there could be a possibility for this one to push back to the upside. Ideally, of course, we would prefer to see a push above the low of 2019, which is around the 1.0878 zone. But again, for now, guys, it's a very tricky pair. We're at a very tricky spot right now, so keep your eyes on these two levels, the 1.0777 on the downside and the 1.0815 on the upside. A breakout through one of these could in a way open the path towards a further short-term, very short-term directional move, and then, yep, as I said, guys, we'll take it from there. Okay, I hope you found it useful, guys. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching it till the end. If you want to join me on Monday, as always, at my Traders Espresso, 7 o'clock GMT time. For now, I hope you have a beautiful weekend, and I'll see you on Monday at 7 o'clock GMT at my Traders Espresso. Thank you very much, guys, and bye-bye.